Okay, welcome back. We're in the garage again. It's Sunday. Airplanes, lawn care enthusiasts, etc. Amazon's back. 240 got a timing belt, water pump, head gasket, motor mounts, fan clutch. A friend got a hold of me today and said, hey, I've got a Volvo 240 red block. Do you want it? I'll deliver it. Okay. Now we have a B230F. It's a 93 block. It might have squirters in it. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Let's tear it apart. Just as a garage hangout kind of thing. Yeah. Came with the starter, which is cool. The wiring looks to be in good shape on it, which is also cool. We gotta get this off. I think that's a 13 millimeter. Might be a 13 or 14. I think it's 13. We'll, we'll do the thing and get the... Let's take her off real quick, right? Pops right out. It's a lot easier to work on these motors when they're on the floor. Maybe I should do that with the rest of my cars. Just take the motors out and put them on the floor. Okay. She's free. Probably 10 mil. Yeah, that's 10 mil. 10 millimeter. Oops. Tighten it till it's loose, right, guys? Intermediate shaft that sits in here runs along this way. Your oil pump drive sits over in here. This gets driven by the intermediate shaft. You'll notice here there's a little plate. This is your mechanical fuel pump plate. They just use a block off. They never changed it in any of the castings. That's how old these motors are. Now, if you happen to have an intermediate shaft that has the lobe for that, you could, slap a mechanical pump right on this thing, slap your carburetor and your mechanical fuel pump. Oh, and you'll need a coil and you'll need the distributor. I bet we could make this engine run sitting on the garage floor.
Jesus Christ!
But that's for later. Oops. Yep. Now it's a nice shape of round. Moving along with this wiring harness, we got our alternator leads going over to the passenger side of the block. If you're in America, that is. 2 10 mils underneath. Everything pops right out. Ugh, pops right out. It just pops off, okay? Let's see if we can do this without killing ourselves. I need something that can hold this up. See if we can pick up the front end. Oops. Maybe not. Like I said, pick up the front end. Ugh. Terrifying as it is. Look what we accomplished. Our problem is our wiring harness is behind that mount. I don't remember them being like that. Man, can't make my life easy, huh? Now, look how easily the impact can do it. Maybe we should give it a pressure wash too, huh? What do you think? Look at this. Yep. Oh yeah, there we go. No struggle. Okay, now we have a wiring harness. Crank sensor. What is it, 60 tooth? I can't remember. Look on the internet, there's plenty of information. Maybe you can find a YouTube channel or something that does Volvo content, can tell you that. If you look down in here, you have a stud here and then another stud there. The nuts are difficult to get to, but if you come in from the top side of the motor with a wrench, you can get to them fairly easy. Squeeze your peepers on in there. Quarter turn at a time and it'll come off. Oh wow, look how bad that gasket is. Oh wow, sucker's fighting. Ow! Ow! Oh my god, I don't even understand what happened right there. I think my ratchet just broke. Yeah, that's not cool. Okay, it's gonna come off now. I mean, it doesn't have a choice in the matter. Normally, I don't have that issue. There we go. Okay, take two. Now, with the help of our impact, we'll just rip these off real quick because they were on there nice and easy. No issue. whatsoever. Not bad, actually. Wow, that looks amazing. Look how nice that is in there. Huh. Maybe this engine was a good buy. How brave am I feeling today? Am I brave enough to try to break that manifold off? I don't know. Those look really rusty. I do think we're gonna pressure wash the motor. Give a little bit of a pre-bath lubrication. Also, get it up in there in the spark plugs just for sakes and purposes. I used to have this other stuff that was pretty good, but we're back to using PB Blaster. Might be a good idea to slap a carb on it and see if we can make it run. Running an engine on a small stand like that is very dangerous. I don't recommend doing this at home, but of course you can always do it yourself. This is a Dean of Machines edition of Will It Run? First order of business is your M46 bell housing. This is just a bell housing to bolt to the engine so that we can have a place for our starter to bolt to without having to use short bolts. That's just a regular B230 starter, nothing special. They're pretty much the same. As you can see, that's a B18 block. So that's an old pushrod motor from the 60s with a 80s M46 bell housing. And if you're curious if you can put a modern transmission behind your Amazon, if you look, that's square on the block. This is the problem right here. Your red blocks sit at an angle. So if that were sitting in a car, the carb would be flat. The pushrod motors sit straight up and down. So when you look at it, your shifter would be pointing off to that direction. So, but for now, it's interesting to see that it almost bolts to the block. If you look in the hole, as you can see clearly in there, the hole is too small on the block. So your old hardware is thinner than the modern hardware. Moving on to the motor, we have a Penta intake. Which is a little bit different than your usual BT30 intake. That is a EGR fuel injected intake. But of course we have the carb from a Penta motor as well. We're not gonna run it very long. We're just gonna get it to fire and everybody will say woo woohoo. See if we can get it to fire anyway. Got into the timing belt. We checked, made sure everything's in time. Verified it. Everything looks good. This belt looks brand new and the sticker said it had 40,000 miles on it. Our distributor is a points and condenser style distributor, which we'll have to wire up. But I just installed it and made sure everything was, all the plug wires were set up correctly. Pay no attention to the RTV through the distributor cap. When I ordered all this stuff, it got crushed. And well, in the interest of making this video today, little RTV and a zip tie, and she's held back together. Exhaust wise, I do have a downpipe that I could put on this and then it'll stick about out there somewhere. That's not what the cool kids would do. We're just gonna run it. Oil looks good. Good enough for the girls we date. Then we need the boat battery as a power source. Again, thanks to the stash of Volvos we have around here, we have a positive battery cable to starter lead, and I think I can make that red wire work for the distributor power as well. Let's set this all up. Good deal. This B230 is an LH 2.4 if I remember correctly. Crank sensor mount off of here because you won't have the cutout for your bell housing. And if you look, the M46 bell housing has the markings where that would sit, which is really interesting. Were they looking into the future or something? Up she goes. Time. Now that our M46 bell housing is on our 92 B230 from a 92 240, our Penta intake and carburetor, and our condenser-based points distributor. This is Dean of Machines. We're not too fancy around here. You need a ground wire for your points. Slip it on, just slip it on there, nice and easy. Goes right on without any difficulty. There we go. Yeah, just slips right on. Our purple wire will be our ground for our coil. Verifying, you know, trust but verify, as Putin always says. Next, we need power. This is not good to do for a long amount of time. Currently, the other end is not hot. We're good to go. Get your lead to your cap. That's very carefully repaired. You do need some sort of ground wire. So imagine somewhere between the negative and the block, it's connected to the car somehow. We're just gonna bypass all that. We don't need a car. Kind of like this guy up here. I went to the mount for the oil dipstick. Hopefully that's good ground. But that should fire off as long as we give it power. There you go. Can we make the coil hot? Oh yeah. This is our ignition wire now. So whenever you turn the key for your car, it's technically what we're doing is we're taking your lead, giving it 12 volts, and then there it goes. Starts the car. Trigger wire for the starter, and then our hot lead for the battery. And if they touch, she fires off, huh? Or at least cranks. Cool.
Jesus Christ!
This is just some paint thinner. Something that will ignite. Well, there's your sign. Contact. Well, it runs. Was me. Okay, using our syringe, I was able to force feed our carburetor bowl with fuel. So it should have a good bit of fuel in it. It should stay running for a little while at least, maybe 10 seconds or so. There's no choke on it. I'm not familiar with this carburetor enough to tell you a whole lot about it, but let's see what it does. And contact. Oh, there we go. Contact. Take that, you enthusiastic lawn care loving sons of bitches. That's a basic Volvo 240, how to make it run. What's it kind of thing. What do you think?
It was... Why are you pointing at me?
Sorry, I'm just happy to see you, that's all.
It was very magical. You and all of your ingenuity, for lack of a better phrase.
I engineered it myself. Are you surprised that it ran?
I'm not surprised that it ran. I was fairly certain you'd be able to get it running. I'm impressed that you got it running.
Why?
Well, just because it's cool to see.
It's cool to see?
Yeah. How many people do you think are starting engines in their garage?
I mean, if it were up to me, I'd say everybody should do this. I guess we have a good running engine. Yeah.
Where are we gonna put it?
We could take the TDI out of the Jeep.
That'd be interesting.
That's Volvo-based content then, and then people would be interested in it.
It'd suck to get rid of some of the work you've already done to it.
But it'd be so cool. I would not want a carburetor on it, though.
No.
No. But I think that's going to be about it for today. It's a lazy Monday, Memorial Day. If you made it this far and you had a good time, or if you learned something, I don't know. Thanks for hanging out in the garage with us today. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever holiday you celebrate. Go find an old motor, get it running on your garage floor. How about you get in your garage, you fix something, huh?
Go fix something.
Go fix something. Have a good day.